about real estate culture here in Portugal and how you might navigate that. And there are parallels, reflections, I think, in the way that the culture we were talking about yesterday, with perhaps a lack of integrity, accountability, and leadership, might be also reflected in real estate, such as it is, such as the standing culture here in Portugal. Veronica has views on that, as I'm sure Carl will as well, when he joins us in around 20 minutes as well. Before we go there, before we discuss things with Veronica and Carl, major update, says Jorge Branco over at Portugal Weekly. This is worth the two Substacks. I mean, there are quite a few Portugal Substacks or Portugal-based Substacks now. The ones that I think are really good sort of news reporting and not so much punditry. Not that there's anything wrong with those, of course. Some of them are very good. But the newsy ones are Jorge Branco's Portugal Weekly here and Portugal Decoded, which comes out on a Friday as well. Apart from when there's something extra to report about, Jorge Branco and Portugal Decoded are very happy to go to Substack and do some extra reporting, which I think this isn't extra reporting, but it is being called a major update. So let's have a very quick look at this before we go to the Queen of the Far East. A large part of the government's immigration reforms have passed through Parliament with the support of the Democratic Alliance, as we found out from Natasha Don. And he's calling them the far-right Chega. Publico reports, says Jorge Branco in his Substack submission this morning, immigration laws passed Parliament amid harsh criticism. All the parties on the left voted against the changes to the Foreigners' Law. It's being called the Foreigners' Law. Shouldn't that be S apostrophe on Wednesday? And the Liberal Initiative, IL, a right-wing party that had, sorry to be an apostrophe pedant there. I'm just curious. A right-wing, I'm not meaning to be supercilious, just curious. A right-wing party that had previously supported the reforms abstained. That's a Liberal Initiative and Liberal Initiativa Liberal, the Socialist Party PS, which is the second largest opposition party just behind Chega, notably criticised trampling, in quotes, of parliamentary procedure. So I'll put the link to that also into the comments so that you can check that out. Those two I would definitely subscribe to. Oh, Jenny the cat is here with a view on things as well this morning. Can you hear her? Right, so let me just take that off the screen and put Jorge Branco's update on the Substack. Yeah, I recommend subscribing to Jorge Branco for the Portugal Weekly as well as Portugal Decoded that comes out on a Friday. Right, I think we'll roll that intro again, shall we? And then we'll see Veronica on the other side of this. Where is it? Oh, here it is.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know.
There she is. And I seem to have a cat with me as well, Veronica. Hola, bon dia.
Hola, bon dia. Oh, my goodness, that's the universe. Because I've been thinking about getting a rescue cat. So
have you? Well, we've got 4 now. The least you can do is have 1. I think.
Yes, but I'm in an apartment, so they need to be the ones that like to be inside.
All right, just 2 then.
Yeah, well, there's some that at the shelters, because I've rescued them before. They make you promise that you're going to keep them inside. But anyway, off the cat. How are you doing? Sorry.
No, hold on a minute. This is a growing global trend. I mean, there are parts of Australia where you're required by law to keep a cat inside.
What?
Yeah, there are parts of Australia where if you're a cat owner, it has to be kept inside. Otherwise, you're prosecuted, I believe.
Wow. Are the cats doing damage? Are they eating the kangaroos? What's going on?
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. They are eating the kangaroos. There are gangs of cats roaming the streets of Sydney. I think it is for small. I mean, cats are pretty destructive, I've got to say, when it comes to eating wildlife and just killing it for fun. Yeah, that's in many ways that's a good reason to keep them locked up.
I was just talking to some friends and clients up in the UK, and they got a new cat, a new kitten, and it brings in something new every day.
presents for the owner. It's like, oh, lovely. I'll have that on toast. Thank you. I'm sure there's a shriveled little shrew outside my door this morning. I will answer your question on how I am in just a moment, but we've got a few friends with us this morning. I don't know. Oh, are you broadcasting out to your channel as well? That's fantastic. Well done.
Yes, I think
nice
it's best to get the most amount of publicity to your channel because I think you're
thank
amazing.
you very much. Thank you very much. Bom dia, Carly. E a todos. Feliz Quinta from Coach Turner. See you tomorrow, Coach. We've got a new companion presenter with you tomorrow, Eric Bourgon. He of Digipause, a digital detoxer, fitness for the mind, to complement you tomorrow, Coach Turner. Bon dia, everyone, from Mike and Karen. Good morning to you. One bag and a passport there. The links to the articles are there, and thank you very much. Foreigners policy, yeah, right. And we get in trouble for saying expat. And yes, hola bonjour. Nubianette is in France. That was a lovely picture, I think, of you and your nephew, the gendarme. He looked fabulous. Nubianette, a man in uniform. Fantastic. Where can I get me one of those? Not a man in uniform, a uniform. Right.
I like the men in uniform in case there's one of those out there.
The queen, the expat queen of the Far East. All sorts of exciting things going on in VRSA. I'm very well, thank you. To answer your question, I hope you are too. You look, as ever, you look like you've been having loads of fun, Veronica.
I try to have fun every day because we don't know what tomorrow brings. Remember? COVID?
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, indeed. So let's have a look, shall we? A little bit of a video here. Actually, I was going to play this before you came on, but you can tell me what's going on as we see what's happening.
Yeah,
here.
and then you don't get in trouble with the music kids.
Yeah, then I don't get in trouble. You're absolutely right. Oh, right. So, actually, is that the evening one? No, I wanted to show
that's the evening one, but that's really fun because that shows how we live on the set of a rom-com movie.
I want to do the morning one first. It seems to be the better order to do this. So let's have a look at the earlier fun of the day. Right. So what's going on? Who's that?
So our town has gone digital. The Far East has a really great program. I don't know if you're going to show the link or not. It's not, huge, but it's really nice when you see how progressive that Portugal is getting and the Algarve is getting, in that there's going to be a portal for every store, every restaurant in one place, promoted by the city. And then there'll be all the coupons and discounts, kind of like you see in a shopping mall. And then it'll have all the news because, you click on their websites, and all the websites here start with CM, right? Dash.
Yeah.
So it's not intuitive, and they end in PT. So someone might be looking at .co or .com or UK. So if you go to Villarreal de Santo Antonio and their digital site, it will all be in there. That's one of my good friends, Melissa. She's the one I got the captain's license with last month.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Ahoy there, Capital. Yeah. Do you know what? Since we had that conversation, Melissa, did you say?
Melissa, she's a doll.
Let's leave that beautiful picture of Melissa on the screen for just a moment.
That embodies her. Happy, lovely fun.
Giggling and having fun with you. We've got 2 new boats in the bay. My mate Ricardo sailed a boat up or powered a boat up from Lisbon via Cascais, and I filmed him sailing into the bay here, and he's offering trips. You can go out on his boat. And then I got a call from Nunu, who's got a catamaran. He's catamaran man. He said, come and do a live stream from the catamaran in the bay.
Yes.
That came in yesterday. It's got to be done, hasn't it? Portugal.
Yes. In fact, I'm going to be there next week, and I was looking for boat trips. So maybe we can pop on a boat.
Oh, I will
be
put
there
you
on Tuesday.
Nunu and Ricardo, depending on your needs. Nunu plays the violin, and he'll play the violin for you out at sea on his catamaran. That's quite the offer, isn't it? Right. Okay, thank you, Melissa. And that's what you're talking about. Is every camera going to have one of these? Is this a digital strategy for the whole country?
Oh, well, so you have to think our Villarreal de Santo Antonio is both a city and a county, right? So it's got all the other cities in it, Castellrim, and so this is kind of like the flagship town because we're the county seat where the city and the county buildings are. So they're starting with that, and then we'll roll out to other cities. Now, I don't know about initiatives in other counties or regions, but our city is really modern and progressive. As you see, it wasn't built, like in the, Middle Ages. Our actual city was built by the Marquis de Pombal.
Oh,
and the groundwork and planning was laid before the earthquake. So many people wrongly say, oh, the big earthquake came and wiped out Villarreal de Santo Antonio. Well, that's not true because our town wasn't even built until 25 years later. There was a
Fake
little
news.
tiny fishing town there that was in the sand and had like huts, but it wasn't even a town. They were
Okay.
trying to get the fishermen from the next town over to move here to show Spain how powerful we are. And
Yes, quite right. Too.
yeah, and so this was Marquis de Pombal's, some of his plans before, the Lisbon earthquake.
Oh, so before, I mean, what came to mind, and have you looked into Pombal, Marquis de Pombal?
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of research on him, and my friend is actually translating a book about him right now. Melissa, she's translating the book from Portuguese to English, so she should have some good things to come on that. And we're finding out all kinds of interesting things.
He was a bit of a rascal, wasn't he?
Yeah, I find that most people that make the biggest change they're kind of jerks.
Yes,
a little bit of a narcissist to have that faith in yourself that you can do this, right?
Yes,
which also comes with the people you don't like get squashed pretty hard. So.
Yeah, nothing changes, does it? It's so true. And
I right.
I saw present day politicians and world so-called leaders, and I saw something on X where this quite sort of critical Portuguese political pundit showed a picture of the Marquis de Pombal at his great statue in Lisbon. It's like, what else do you expect from a country that elevates and celebrates such a terrible person? Basically, I think he was saying about the Marquis de Pombal. And what I thought of Villarreal de Santonio was like leftover building materials after the earthquake. It's like, well, I'll have that for my seaside place down in the south, because now we're rebuilding the city. But this is all designed and made. And I think you've got a notable architect here, haven't you, as well involved? Was it the Swiss architect who made his
all of his architects are listed, and I did a piece on that will eventually be in my Substack. Mine's American and Portugal. We have so much we post to that you've got to go remember to post in that one. And I absolutely love the updates. I saw that one this morning as well. And definitely pay and subscribe, because then you get the daily stuff and it supports him. I think it was less than $5 a month. If you have the means, please. Yeah. The price of a classy craft beer.
Right, he does a great job. Both he and Portugal Decoded do a fantastic job, and it's newsy, isn't it? It isn't just like us lot. A lot of us talking about our opinions as foreigners here in Portugal. This is some decent news reporting, I would say.
When it's political, he always uses Politico. He always uses the links, so you can go to the original article, translate it, and get the full article. And he's done a really good job decoding it, right? Because sometimes the translation doesn't fit.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is great news, and I do hope we have these around the rest of the country, because I've got to say, it does look a bit more exciting than the usual camera website that you mentioned, doesn't it? This is colourful and connects to the culture in a way that some of the camera sites can be a little bit dry, can't they, to experience.
They're websites. This is an app, so this is still a website, but it's also an app. And I think when you can hop skip to the app and not try to keep reinventing, that old car that sure still looks pretty, but it's a lot of work, to change a tire versus, nowadays you get a car with a run flat and you work on other stuff.
My goodness, what an excellent metaphor. Yeah, websites are finished, aren't they? I mean, it's amazing. Well, certainly for us smaller players. I think we're all on the platforms and the apps now, aren't we? And Google has changed so much in the last few months with its searching. It's quite extraordinary what's going on. Has AI affected your life very much so far on that note?
Well, I've been watching AI for many years, right? I've been keeping an eye on it for 3 or 4 years. Mo Gawdat, Gowdad, and Scary Smart, and some of these other books. And now the genie's out of the bottle. So you better use it and use it for good, or you're kind of going to get lost in the kind of the dark ages. Again, to use a car analogy, you'll be in your horse and carriage when everyone else is driving a Ferrari, and they're kind of hopping.
Yeah, but you know what usually happens is that they'll be laughing at you, like from behind their hand as they pass you on their high performance new vehicle, and you're on your horse and cart, like an Amish family But eventually, when they crash into something up the road, they'll be wanting a lift. They'll be wanting a lift from you in your horse and cart and your old school method of transport. Because I'm sure it'll be like all other technological innovations. Like, yeah, it's so exciting. And then, oh look, it's been hijacked by corporations, and you know, it's like it's gone to the dark side. So how long before that with AI do you think, Veronica?
Well, I think you're asking a very broad question, right? Where how long before it goes to the dark side? Anything can go to the dark side, right?
Yep.
Any website, and so as long as we still have bad players in the world, where we have good players and bad players, not to label, but let's just say people who do bad things and people who do not so
behavior. Yeah, we can
great
talk about
things.
the behavior.
It's how you use the tool, and the tool is out there for everybody. And that was the debate 3 years ago. How much do you make this open source? I mean, we've already seen a lot of job losses because of it, especially in, anything that took time to rewrite. Now it can just be templates where someone used to take 25 minutes. Maybe you wrote a complaint letter. It would take me 25 minutes to respond to you, craft a nice email, send it to you. Now those can all be templates, or the AI can answer them, and it takes a human a few seconds to scan it, make sure it makes sense. It's already been worded that flows with company policy. So you've got thousands of people that now just a couple people can start glancing through. And you can even ask the AI teams to, hey, double check it for this or that. And it just keeps evolving, whereas a human maybe takes time to evolve. So I think you've got to be careful in what you're training in. We're always going to need plumbers. We're always going to need authentic people. And I think this is where you and I are probably seeing the shift too. There's a lot of just fake made stuff all through Instagram, YouTube, and it's not real. You go to maybe, let's say, a Portugal site or travel site, and it's all this fake stuff from people who've never been there. You can tell it's just AI created, or they stolen from other sites. So I'm actually launching a platform, and I'm working on the website now, old school now, but it's going to be everything authentic. So all the creators in there will be their work, no stock photos, no AI generated photos, you with your, crazy hair and bumps and bruises, because people are going back to wanting to see authenticity, which I think they always did want. But how many times do you scroll through social media now and you can't tell if any of it's real? You click on a site, let's say with the beach, and there's no people on the beach. You're like, I know that's one of the most crowded beaches out there. And it's just false advertising.
Wow. So I didn't know about this. So tell us more. What is it? Or can you tell us more, or do we have to wait?
Yeah, give me 1 month, because I started to get on the website and kept getting phone calls, and it's almost finished. And then I'll launch it to my other platforms. And I keep changing with the name because I want it to be inclusive. I want it to be authentic. I want it to be like, authentic atlas, or, something that incorporates everybody in the world that can come to one place. Places like yours would be on it, right? Good Morning Portugal, because you don't do any fake stuff. This is you, authentically you. Bumps and bruises and all. Although you look great, I love the look.
Yeah. Well, this is a real backdrop made from old recycled timber. This is my new. I call it the Doghouse Studio, for various reasons. Yeah. Well, that's a really exciting development. So perhaps I'm being too hasty in my criticism of old school websites. I'm looking forward to seeing that, Veronica.
Well, I have to figure out a new school platform to where people can communicate. Does it shoot over to Substack? Does it shoot to YouTube? How do you get the engagement where people feel that they're talking to other real people, not bots or fake news?
I think school is the way. School's going to get bigger and bigger.
Well, you think school will do it? Okay, maybe I'll look into
you know what? I think I'm going to live stream from school at some point soon. Okay. They are innovating at an incredible rate. It's the best community platform, and typically, it's the adoption level, isn't it? It's how people relate to it in the first place, the curve of adoption, and that's been a bit of a struggle, that side of things. But once a critical mass of people in a community go to a school community, some of the more successful communities there are quite extraordinary, and the leadership team, I think, are very authentic and approachable, and they're truly interested in community. The communities there aren't peppered with advertising other stuff. I mean, Facebook's horrible now, isn't it? Apart from if you stay on someone's timeline and you know them, fair enough. But what you have to navigate through is grim. YouTube, I think, is becoming similar as well. So I say school for the win, to give it a go. And before we conclude our comments on AI, what I'd like to reiterate, Veronica, I think Portugal will break AI. When AI is trying to infiltrate the government and the bureaucracy of Portugal, the robot will be crying. There will be tears, and it will be the biggest test case, is that what it's called? A user? Well, anyway, test case of AI, and we shall see what happens when AI comes up against the almighty Portuguese bureaucracy. I wonder what's going to happen with that. Right, we can turn our attention to real estate, I think, because you've been shaking a few trees. Do you think this resonates with the conversation I was having yesterday about integrity and accountability? Is there a bit of a lack of that in Portuguese real estate?
I think whenever you have a society that is, I don't know how to say it without saying it, who hasn't had to go through the paces, without education and without any sort of licensing and oversight. I think you can have those that run rogue. And I think you have a lot of really good people in it. I think you have some that couldn't get jobs elsewhere, and then they go into real estate, and it's tough, whereas someone like you're recruited because of your knowledge and your programming and how you care about the community. Not every broker is recruiting those people. They're just recruiting people that'll come in, go out, knock doors. And the process of law here takes a long time if they even hear your case. So I think they kind of know they have room to play. And it's unfortunate because people get caught up in, let's just say what it is, people who aren't telling the truth. And this is their home, and it's their primary residence. And I continue to tell the agents that I see and work with and communicate with, just always be honest. I tell the owners, always be honest. Oh, but what if they don't buy? I said, it doesn't matter if they buy or not. This is their home. This is their primary residence. This isn't a cake that they're going to go, that doesn't taste right, give me a new one. It's and plus the liability. I mean, why not just be as honest as you can? And then if they still take the house, they knew that window was broken or whatever was happening. I mean, really, is it that big of a deal? If they want it, they're going to not buy it over a broken window or something that needs to be patched, right?
Very interesting.
It comes down to
definitely cultural, isn't it? A definite meeting of cultures and different sort of mindsets about this. And I can see you are doing your best to be respectful and measured about this, but I suspect also you've had enough. A bit like what Leon was saying yesterday. He's had enough with the IMA nonsense, and it's like there's just a lack of leadership, a lack of accountability, and a lack of integrity. And I see parallels perhaps in what you're talking about. And notwithstanding, as I think you mentioned, some really brilliant Portuguese agents who are swimming against that tide, and it must be awful for them, mustn't it?
Yeah, but I found even the ones that I work with, they are trying really hard to go against what they're used to. I love the Portuguese and I love the culture for life, because it's like, relax, don't worry, everything will happen in due time. I'll get back to you whenever. And it's a nice, calm approach. But when you're like, this is my house and I have to be there by this date, or I'm immigrating and I need news and I need information, like, don't worry, it'll be fine. We don't really work on the weekends. Well, the Portuguese on the other side don't work on the weekends. I think it's a lovely lifestyle. I love it. But when you're somebody that says, I've got 2 more weeks to close this thing and I'm out of my apartment, what am I going to do? I've got the movers. And they're, don't worry, you've got a day. We had that happen where I always try to tell my real estate agents, plan as much time as you can. Give them the full month to move in if you can. Oh, they're fine. They've got a day. And sure as heck, the power outage went out on that one day and they didn't get to move in. And now what do? All the movers, everything you've planned that you wanted 2 weeks earlier, it's a very stressful time anyway. I mean, you're talking utilities and there's a lot of moving parts. And that lovely attitude that goes great about don't be stressed and everything else in life, moving is very stressful. And so if you can be as proactive as you can And that's what I keep trying to push. So I brought on an agent who was Dutch, and he's like, go, 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 and almost a little too pushy. And it's just finding that balance. It can be tricky. So we just continue to course correct and bring on people like you.
I think, thank you. I think we were laughing about the Dutch approach, weren't we? Because I'd had a message from a Dutch real estate agent saying, I don't mean to be rude, I'm just Dutch, which I thought was hilarious, but it's a very direct culture. And yeah, of course, it's about striking a balance. When you say my agents, what does that mean, Veronica? You've got a team of people that you're working with to help people?
Just people that I refer to, because I don't actually do the transaction. I kind of pre-qualify people, make sure they're ready, and then pass them off. And this year I'm going to do even less pre-qualification. I'm going to say just go direct, because I think where before it was so crazy and it was just so busy that now there's time for that agent to start building the relationship early on. And bringing in maybe their own team of immigration experts or whatnot. And I think that's where people like you come into play, because you have the whole umbrella. So just like I gave other Carl referrals, I'll give you referrals for that area. So when people come. So but I try to get at least a questionnaire out of them to make sure they're serious. If they won't fill out a questionnaire, then they're not serious. I don't want to waste your time and disrespect your time either. And we did have some clients who asked a lot of questions and really wanted to see everything under the sun. And so we just worked out a deal to say, okay, well, you're going to pay this agent hourly, and that'll go against the commission that he earns on your property. So that way, if you...
That's a great idea. Yes. That's right. And so resentment doesn't build then, does it? People know where they stand. That's an excellent idea. Really, really
and
is.
And they don't ask you to do too much. And I think then you really kind of suss out who's serious and who's just a Sunday shopper because they're bored.
Yeah, and actually that's very helpful for potential buyers, isn't it? To know that they're going to get a decent commitment from the real estate agent. They're going to get paid, and so they'll deliver, won't they? Rather than people not quite knowing what's going to happen. And that is the problem, isn't it? For sure, people don't quite know what's going to happen, aren't clear about expectations, and that's a very messy space to be in, given the importance, as you're suggesting, of we're talking about people's homes, aren't we, and lives. We're not talking about buying a handbag down the town or a meal or something like that, are we? We're talking about a very serious purchase.
And when you've got maybe for you 20 or 50 people who just want to hang out with you and spend the day and go look at houses because it's fun, that takes away your time from maybe the 5 that are serious about it.
Yes, indeed.
So
we've got the meetup for that. Yeah, we've got the meetup for that on Wednesdays. Let's not do that for the rest of the week. Let's.
So maybe they really like you and say, I want to go look at houses with you. Fine, I'm $50 an hour, and that's going to get credited against my commission. At the end of it, if I made so much more commission than this, then I'll credit it back to you. If you went overage, then you're still going to owe me.
Wow. So you're making an impact, I think, in your local culture. How is it going down among in the industry, would you say, and among buyers?
People are very happy to do it, because where one agent that I've had to kind of let go was at a point where she was very frustrated about that. And I said, we'll do this. And she said, okay, but didn't engage with it, which was unfortunate, didn't follow all the way through. So I put on another agent who was so excited that, someone's willing to pay. And I saw the client pulling back where they might give a list of 20 properties. They said, oh, let's just look at these 5. So instead of just wanting to keep going and going and going, they really narrowed down what they knew they'd probably want to see. And they could still go do drive-bys on their own. But then it really respected and appreciated the time and money on both sides.
Wow, that's really great. I've got another big question for you that came up from yesterday. I'm just concerned about Mr. Hyde. He might have had to do a very quick viewing or listing in Lisbon. I'm hoping
his alarm may not have gone off, but me and my big mouth, I can talk forever.
But we're going to be fine. I know that. I've not heard from him, but we will see.
I have 3 coffees today.
And you know what? Another. I showed a beautiful property and introduced a new colleague agent, Bruno Nascimento, and this is a lovely property in Alcácer de Sal, which is in the Antejo, of course, coming back up from where you live. If you go to Lisbon, we stopped off there. It was a beautiful town, isn't it? Alcácer de Sal. Do you like it?
I don't know that town specifically, but I pretty much love everything in the Alentejo. What a
Yes,
gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous.
amazing,
You
isn't it?
call it the Napa. No, actually Napa's not as pretty. The San Luis Obispo of
Yes, I've been there.
Portugal.
Yeah, absolutely near
Yeah.
Hurst Castle.
Yeah.
But what he said was, I said, look, so where are your family from in Portugal? Because he'd been living in France. He'd been a tea importer. There's some interesting people who come on the show. He'd imported tea from Indonesia in France, bless him. But he's come back to Portugal. He's joined the agency, and I said, where are you from? Where are your people from in Portugal? He said Villarreal de Santo Antonio with a massive smile on his face. He has a great love for your part of the world there, Veronica. Yes, and I'll send you details. It's a lovely, they've done a beautiful renovation on a place in Alcácer del Sol, which I think is a great place to keep an eye on. Now, this other question I was asking Raquel and Nuno yesterday. Is this lack of integrity, accountability, certainly in the bureaucracy, lack of leadership, you could argue it's a terrible mess. Do we have to accept that? Is that the shadow side? Is that the dark side of the bit we do like, the easygoing culture? Because you mentioned it, didn't you? You said, like it's an easygoing culture. We like that. It'll all happen in due course. Can we have both, or is that the price we have to pay?
I think you just have to say work is work. And when you come into work, you sit down, you work, and you go, right? And what I was trying to explain to my agents, we're time blocking, because they'd say, oh, we work so hard and it's too much. One, there are a lot of emails, there are a lot of phone calls, but you have to time block and maybe get an assistant. So if you are, let's say, charging $50 an hour for, your time to go show properties, why not give 10 or 15 of it to your kid or someone to do your admin, so they can get on your computer and they can be learning a skill and be moving up and getting all your emails, organizing everything, hand you your little list that says, here's the 4 people you need to call, here's what's happening with them. Because one of the things I found out was when we kind of lost the traction with this client that should have moved in earlier in the month, and then the builder was gone for a couple of weeks, so they couldn't move in. And they thought they had an earlier date, and it wasn't communicated correctly, because you do have the seller, the buyer, and the 2 agents in between. So you have 4 people, right? The agent had said, there's just too many emails. And I just immediately thought assistant, because there are people who are dynamic and who will go out and they're go-getters, but those aren't always the paperwork people. So if you have somebody who can do, especially if it's your child or somebody you really want to groom to learn a skill outside of their norm, there is no reason somebody can't do the phone calls, the WhatsApp. You've got basic templates. You've got AI tools to now help you say, use this, and this in this case. And then you make these 3 phone calls, or you set up these showings, or they're calling them back. They bill you. Your focus is on communicating with the client, being there for them, and being the actual one present for them. So in fact, your assistant can even go do some virtual tours to narrow down where they might actually want to be and live, because they do a couple virtual tours. They might find out, wow, this, the neighbors are, 20 chickens, and this guy needs to have peace and quiet, or he loves the chickens, right? But I mean, I've driven to some places myself just to look at properties. I'm looking for dirt right now, and one looked beautiful on the site, and I drove by, and it was horrible. It was squished in between these 2 unique spots, and I just thought, I don't know that I'd want to look at that every day. So that could have been filtered out by maybe an assistant or someone like me. I'll go do the drive-by, but these agents can't trust the person to go do a drive-by and then not call the agent directly. And this is where your buyer's agreement comes into effect.
Yeah, very good. Okay, excellent stuff. And so I take from your answer there that we can have a great culture that we love, and the parts we don't love so much can be improved, so we can have both. It's not a price we have to pay. Yeah, okay.
And stop hoarding and saying me, help others. Everybody grows together in this.
Yes.
And then you've got to be proactive was the other thing I always share. You must call your client every 2 to 3 days to let them know what's going on, or at least a WhatsApp just saying, hey, there's no new news. So this is our plan. If we don't hear back from the other person or we're going to give them 2 days, and then we're going to put the attorney on it, or we're going to let them know the course of action, and people can just relax and go, oh, I got my update. Here's what's happening today. And you're controlling the narrative instead of them freaking out and calling you because they don't trust you, because there's no communication.
Yeah. Because the Portuguese thing on that is like, well, if there's nothing to tell you, I'm not going to be in touch with you, right? And
no, it's if there's a bad thing, I'm not going to tell you. It's even worse. They don't like to share bad news.
Okay, yeah.
I'm serious.
Right.
It's cultural.
No, you're right. I'm laughing because it's true. It's like, I guess the first bit of that is, well, I'll just get in touch if there is something to tell you. But you're right. It's like, I don't know how, I don't want to share this bad news, so I'm not going to get in touch. And I think all of us as grown-ups would rather, we're not going to be happy about it, but we'd rather hear it. And that's a very good professional bonding thing as well, isn't it? Is to share bad news well, but so that you can change the plan and move on, right?
And that's your first phone call of the day. Whatever your most, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this moment is, you have to get it over with. One, because it's not going to get any better the longer you wait. And two, your own mental health, because you're just thinking, I got to do it. I don't want to do it. I got to just do it. It's done.
Swallow the frog.
Plan. Get on the plan.
Frog. Yeah, swallow the frog first thing.
Follow the frog?
Yes, swallow the frog.
Swallow the frog. I haven't heard that. We'll have to.
Yeah. I think it kind of sums up what you're suggesting there. Couple of questions. You've got a new video we want to talk about. We've also got the evening of fun in VRSA. I don't think Carl's going to be joining us this morning. Kiso Coins is here with a hello here, and Steve,
hi Jim. He's our sneaky Jim.
My wife and I have been talking about moving to Portugal for 4 years, but we will be coming out to Portugal to get our 1-year lease and our appointment with VFS Global 23rd of October. Well, congratulations, Steve. If we can help at all, do let us know.
And what region, Steve? What region are you going to move in? Are you going to go north or south? Because you got your north guys, south people. We can help you
obviously the Silver Coast, which is the best part. Have either of you seen an increase in real estate scams aimed at foreign buyers? I've read about them. I've no close calls on that myself. What about you, Veronica?
I don't know that I've heard of more. I just hear them continuously. It's the people who get caught and who share the news versus some guy randomly met in Ireland that said, my best friend was so excited, went and bought a house. And then when he went to move in, the owner said it wasn't for sale. So,
oh dear. Okay.
And paid cash. Yeah. So be very careful with cash. If you're iffy at all on a deal, I tell the clients, even if you get a small mortgage, maybe $10,000, it's going to take a little bit longer, but the bank is going to vet the heck out of it.
Right.
But you should have your private attorney. I know you've got attorneys in-house you love. I still like the private attorney to really vet out stuff. And sometimes it can make it go faster because, the client is paying them and can push them versus in-house. If it's a really busy time, the attorney might not have as much time. So even when I was at Caldwell Banker with, Chris and the whole team, I still liked, always having private attorney. And I used private attorney on my own.
Very good. Excellent advice there. Steve, right back at us with twice, actually. Algarve, of course, and Algarve, of course. So
which parts? There's two separate camps.
That's so true. You're seeing on the screen here, Mr. and Mrs. Green, the queen, the expat queen of the Far East. And great advice, about the separate lawyer there. That's a really good idea. Thank you very much for that. And yes, you have this is a sneak peek tour of a stunning apartment. So tell us more about this. I'll give the link to this as well, and we'll run it in the background so people can see what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. So this is just a for sale by owner, and Christina had been watching my channel for like 4 or 5 years, and she said, "Oh, can you help me? I'm doing it for sale by owner." And to be fair, she hired a person that did beautiful shots. And some of the agents, unfortunately, some of the listing agents in the area here are tough to work with. So I just said, well, really honestly, if you have an attorney and the other person has an agent and attorney, and you're showing it anyway, you might as well just show it, do some vetting, get somebody to do a quick check on whoever wants to come see the property. But even the agents here, a lot of times one walks in their office, they don't vet them and then they show them properties. So I said, you might as well see how it goes. And then you can, drop the price just a little and then let a buyer's agent bring somebody in and still pay that buyer's agent because she's got like 30 agents calling her nonstop, and tell them they're welcome to come and you'll still pay their commission. But it maybe necessarily doesn't have to be listed by them because you've done a beautiful job with the photos. So I went and
So
shot the
you've done a
video with
beautiful
her.
job. Yeah, this is lovely, isn't it? Lovely place.
Yeah. So this is 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms. And the one thing, and a garage. Now that's worth its weight in gold, right?
Yeah.
To have parking. And then it overlooks the river and a lot. We don't know if the lot will be developed or not. So we're like, just plan on loving where you live in case they ever develop that lot.
Yeah.
But it looks like they've put an ad on. Oh, because it's YouTube.
We're just getting a TAP advert. TAP will pay us both, I'm sure, for this bit of publicity, won't they? And they must have
and a
heard us
cat,
talking
because we talked about a cat.
We talked
Remember?
about cats. And what else did I talk about? There'll be a pile cream advert in a minute.
AI.
Right. This is lovely. So well done on that. We are coming up to 9 o'clock. I've got to go and have breakfast with Sarah Davey this morning.
Tell Sarah hello. I just love her to death. We've met down here as well.
She's great. She's great. We had a lovely meal last night as well. Me, Mrs. M, and Sarah, and we managed to go to a fish restaurant I haven't been to, which when you come to San Martino de Porto, you must go there. It was absolutely delicious. Very simple, beautifully cooked, great desserts, and a view of that bay. So I'll give you that recommendation when you're headed this way, which I think you are soon. And finally, then, as well as sorry, Veronica, go ahead. Were you adding something there?
Tuesday.
Okay, see you Tuesday. See you next Tuesday. Shouldn't say that really.
I know.
Right, this is the evening's entertainment. Is this the evening of the digital platform launch here?
Yeah. So first, it's all nice and proper in town, and then
a little bit of music in the background. There you go.
I love that. It's after midnight. Do you know where your kids are? Everybody does, because they're there with their kids. Their kids are on their shoulders. I'm telling you, I live on a set of a rom-com movie. You look at the Christmas ones. You look at this. Everybody is out after midnight. That was Zumba. We were all doing Zumba in the square. I'm sweating like a pig. I sweat. I don't blow. I don't perspire. But it was a cool night. I had to put my jacket on later because it got so cool. But
you had a lot of fun there. You had a lot of fun.
There's Melissa again. I'm Melissa.
Would you? Melissa ended both videos for us today with her beautiful smile. Would you recommend Zumba?
I thought it was super fun. I've had issues with my feet, so they're not feeling so great right now. You know that plantar fasciitis from the Stones? I have to get into that sometime. Yeah, it's finally healing, but wear good shoes.
This is the difficulty of the calçadas, is it specifically?
Yeah. Wear dad shoes. Stop with the cute sandals. Wear dad shoes.
Dad shoes. Some of those great big, what are they called? Hoka trainers, those massive marshmallow trainers, possibly.
Yes. People say the Hoku, but my podiatrist, I got custom insoles. He recommended the Asics, and there's in the Mars Shopping, which is in the IKEA Center, big design outlet centers. They have an Asics or Asics or however you say it, ACIS, store. Yeah. And they had a bunch of like $150 pairs for 30 euros. So if they have my size, I buy them all. I bought like 5 pairs that day. And they have been a dream. But then don't go jumping up and down when you're almost healed.
No, okay, so no jumping up and down. Go steady. Don't get carried away. And congratulations here, coming up on our 6-month anniversary of moving to Portugal. Well done, Mike K. That's always lovely to celebrate that sort of information with all that's going on at the moment, with the foreigners' law, etc. If you've joined us just recently, I talked about that at the beginning of the show. If you want to read
Michael Klein, tell Sarah hello too, if that's Michael Klein.
Yeah, that might be Michael Klein. And continue the conversation over at the Portugal Club on school that I mentioned before as well. And Jackie's just popped in. Bon dia, Gambas. Big hugs to all. Big hug right back at you. Igualmente there, Jackie. Last word to you then, Veronica. Thank you very much. We don't know what's happened to Carl. We'll make sure he's all right. And he'll be with us in due course. But last word to you, the expat queen of the Far East of Portugal. Go ahead.
Far East. I just say that we always say, don't time the market, move here because you want to move here, not leave there, use professionals, vet your sale, give yourself time and patience. And especially now during the touristy travel season, pack your patience and your bikini.
Boom! There you go. That's some great advice right there. Thanks, Veronica. Looking forward to seeing you already next month. Have a lovely time and see you next week. Bye for now. Ciao, ciao. Ciao, ciao. Thanks, everybody, for watching.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need